Peppa Pig, Peppa's Australian Underwater Adventure. Please subscribe, like and watch until the end, where a surprise is waiting for you. Thank you. Peppa was very excited. She had just won a Great Barrier Reef art competition at the aquarium. "Congratulations, Peppa," said Miss Rabbit. "Your prize is to join me on a marine biology trip to Australia." "Hooray!" cheered Peppa. "What's marine biology?" "It's learning about the plants and animals that live in the sea," explained Miss Rabbit. "Oh," said Peppa. "We are going to stay with Mrs. Kangaroo," continued Miss Rabbit. "She will teach us how to scuba dive in the Great Barrier Reef." "What an amazing prize for a competition," said Mummy Pig, a bit surprised. "Well, Peppa's drawing was very imaginative," said Miss Rabbit. "Her picture wasn't exactly like any fish I have seen, but it was a prize-winning picture." "I see," said Mummy Pig. "There's nothing wrong with a bit of imagination, is there?" "Of course you, Daddy Pig and George will be coming to Australia too," Miss Rabbit told Mummy Pig. "How lovely," replied Mummy Pig. "Thank you, Miss Rabbit." Peppa and her family were very excited to be seeing their friends in Australia again. "We'll be leaving first thing tomorrow," said Miss Rabbit. "Right then," said Mummy Pig. "We'd better head to the shops and get everything we need for the trip." Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig headed to Mr. Fox's shop and told him what they needed. Mr. Fox got everything out. "Now," he said, "I think you also need some paper and coloring pens. You never know when they might come in handy." "I'm not sure we do," began Mummy Pig. "Trust me, Mummy Pig," Mr. Fox interrupted. "You definitely need these." "Oh, okay then," said Mummy Pig. "Thank you for your help, Mr. Fox. We must get going now, so we can pack all of this." The next morning, Peppa and her family woke up very early and hopped on the airplane to Australia. "Where's Miss Rabbit?" asked Daddy Pig. "I think she's finding her own way there," replied Mummy Pig. While Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig flew on an airplane, Miss Rabbit travelled to Australia by hot air balloon, whoosh, helicopter, tok 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 tok, and boat, ahoy there. Amazingly, Miss Rabbit arrived in Australia at the exact same time as Peppa and her family. "Welcome to Australia, everyone," said Mrs. Kangaroo. "It's so good to see you," said Kylie Kangaroo, giving Peppa a big hug. After they were settled in, Mrs. Kangaroo went through the diving plan with Kylie, Peppa and Miss Rabbit. "There are so many amazing creatures to discover in the Great Barrier Reef," she explained. "It's an incredible place." Mrs. Kangaroo taught Peppa about diving and marine biology. "What does buddy up mean?" asked Peppa. "It means we are going to dive in a group," explained Mrs. Kangaroo. She held up a list of the creatures they were going to see and count on their underwater adventure. Green sea turtles, orange clownfish, blue starfish, pink sea anemones, and even whales. "Wow!" gasped Peppa. She was so excited. Mrs. Kangaroo drove everyone to the boat. Then they hopped on board with their diving gear and headed out to the diving site. When the boat stopped, Mrs. Kangaroo gave Peppa and Kylie a special underwater list each. "It's important that we count the marine life carefully," she said. "If you spot anything unusual, let me know." Then Peppa, Miss Rabbit, Kylie, and Mrs. Kangaroo jumped backwards off the boat. They dived deep down under the water to the reef. Splash, 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 splash. The divers saw lots of amazing plants and animals on the reef. They spotted 5 orange clownfish, 4 pink sea anemones, 3 brilliant blue starfish, 2 big green turtles, and 1 enormous whale. "Wow!" said Peppa. "It's so colorful down here." Peppa and Miss Rabbit followed the whale further into the reef. Peppa used her diving fins to swim as fast as she could to keep up, and Miss Rabbit paddled along behind her. The whale pointed its fin at a big rock. Peppa peered behind the rock and saw a fish that wasn't on Mrs. Kangaroo's list, poking its head out. "That looks just like the fish I colored in," said Peppa. At the end of the dive, everyone climbed back on board the boat. "We counted so many creatures," cried Peppa excitedly. "It was amazing! I also spotted a beautiful fish that wasn't on your list, Mrs. Kangaroo." "What did it look like, Peppa?" asked Kylie. "It looked a bit like the clownfish," said Peppa, "but not exactly." Said Mrs. Kangaroo. "Can you describe it a bit more, Peppa?" Peppa used the coloring pens from Mrs. Fox's shop to draw the fish she had seen. It looked just like her picture from the aquarium. "Wow, that's a lovely fish, Peppa," said Kylie. "Peppa is very good at drawing," said Mrs. Rabbit. "I don't believe it," gasped Mrs. Kangaroo when she saw Peppa's drawing. "It looks just like a rare blue clownfish that hasn't been seen for a while now. Where did you spot it, Peppa?" Peppa took everyone back to where she had seen the unusual fish. Mrs. Kangaroo had been searching for the blue clownfish for a long time. Peppa spotted the whale winking at her in the distance. "Thank you for showing us the fish, lovely whale," Peppa said, winking back. After Mrs. Kangaroo had taken lots of photographs of the fish, she signaled for everyone to swim up to the boat and head back to shore. That afternoon, Mrs. Kangaroo and her family cooked a big meal to celebrate Peppa's amazing discovery. "What do you think of the Great Barrier Reef, Peppa?" asked Daddy Pig. "It's the most brilliant place ever," replied Peppa. "The fish are just like I imagined they would be. Ho ho ho!" She held up her picture from the art competition. It looked exactly like the fish she had seen on her dive. Everyone laughed. He 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 he. Peppa loves the beautiful Great Barrier Reef. Everyone loves the beautiful Great Barrier Reef. Enjoy my new series Oliver and Jumpy. 19 video books with about 500 pictures. There's text, but I also read it aloud for the younger children. I have written 65 stories and had them illustrated at great cost for your children's fun. Oliver is an elegant tomcat and Jumpy is his lady friend. Oliver loves to ride in Jumpy's pouch when they go for adventures together. Please find a link to the first book in the description of this video. Please always subscribe and like if you find my effort interesting. Thank you so much.